Okay, so you've seen how Config Spot it streamlines the whole process of adding these devices to the network. It makes it really fast, simple, regardless of the wireless technology. And you can come in and take a look at these devices into this browser interface. This browser interface is actually coming from the home controller. You can see this through any PC, Mac, or web-enabled phone, not only in your home or anywhere in the world. And you can come in and take a look at cameras, or let's say the environmental sensor, you want to look at the temperature, humidity in your wine cellar, or you want to take a look at the energy being used in, say, your home entertainment system in the master bedroom. And, you know, that's very, very straightforward. We didn't have to do anything but use Config Spot, then plug it in, and then went to this user interface and started doing it. But the next real step is to go in and starting to have some intelligence occur in the system, where I'm saying, say, have this motion detector control this light plugged into this power control module. Or even something more sophisticated, let's say I have a series of motion detectors and cameras around the home, and I want to set up an elder care system. Maybe I have a unit, a house unit in back, a second house that one of my relatives is currently occupying, and I'm really concerned about them in terms of their health. I can get them one of these panic button kind of systems that you've seen out there and certainly seen advertised for years, but what I really worry about is that they slip into a diabetic coma, have some sort of cardiac issue that kept them from pressing that panic button. What I would ideally set up is a bunch of motion detectors and a few cameras around the home to detect when there's been some period of inactivity, because I'm in a period of time where traveling a lot, I really can't call every 2 hours, but I really want to monitor things closely. So what I can go in here is we have a template task for a variety of functions, and we'll go here and take a look at, say, elder care. And elder care is an interesting situation because you're actually looking for inactivity. In our system, we already know about what devices can detect motion. You simply go through and detect or select the ones that you want to detect that lack of motion in, and then define a period of time that you want to look for inactivity. So we'll say 4 hours, and maybe I only want to look for this inactivity between certain times of the day. And if I see that inactivity, then what I want to do, let's say send a text message to myself that says check on mom, and we're done. Simply say finish, and the system is now saved. I can come in anytime later in the future, say if I wanted to tweak some of these values, or just delete the function and change it all over if I wanted to. Now that's fine for what you might consider canned or scripted kinds of functions. But the real art of consumer design and trying to keep things simple is also making sure the consumer has lots of choices available. You see in these templates, we've made a certain assumption based on what it is you want to do and give you the choices that are generally only appropriate for that function. But as you want to do more sophisticated things and consumers trying to do things that maybe you've never even envisioned with the product, you want to make sure that you have it to where anything that's technically capable is indeed achievable with your product. So we also have a custom setup, and in this custom setup it is a much more free-form system where you go in and define inputs and outputs and functions. Yet it's fast, it doesn't involve any IT knowledge, and yet it's extremely flexible. And just to give you an example, and this is a very real-world example. I live in a country setting, and people that come up, I can't often hear them, and unfortunately, I drive up to a place where I don't have windows. So I set up a motion detector and had it detect when a car would pull up, and it would turn on a light and then turn on a chime. So let me know somebody had shown up. Problem was it was going off an awful lot with the different deer and raccoons, things like that, around animals around. So what I would really like to do is to actually be able to take a look and see if a car is coming down the driveway and put a couple of motion sensors along the driveway. That's a less expensive alternative than, say, bearing pressure sensors and things in the driveway. But that's actually kind of complex setup when you talk about if this motion detector triggers and then this one triggers in some window of time later and this other one triggers in some window of time later, to sort of say, okay, there is a car coming down the driveway. That's actually quite complex. In our system, it's actually not as hard to set up as it sounds. You come in here and we will go in here and we'll say if the motion sensor on the driveway is triggered, and then we'll assume that this motion sensor we just added a little while ago to it is on the driveway. We'll say if it is triggered within some period of time, a couple of seconds, and then the camera on the front door detects image motion within some period of time. Now see, I've already said if these three things are triggered in this sequence, then what I want to do, then let's come in and turn on, as we talked about before, we'll turn on our front entrance light. Maybe we'll want to turn it on only for a couple of minutes. And let's play a sound through our speaker module that we have. This is a module that's capable of producing any sort of sound. We have pre-programmed ones, or you could upload a sound of your choice. And in case I'm not there, let's take a look at the camera, record, and take a picture, and then let's send that picture as a text message to my cell phone. And maybe that's all we want to do. We'll say finish. And you see that that was actually a fairly complex setup that actually only took us less than a minute to actually do the configuration. We're pretty proud of our system, and that oftentimes it takes you longer to put the batteries and maybe screw something on a mount on the wall than it did to actually do all the networking setup. So this is Threshold Corporation's product and core technology in the home control market.